Yes, we know that the Dave Clark 5 has such hits as Can't You See That She's Mine and Bits and Pieces, and they were the band that knocked the Beatles' I Wanna Hold Your Hand off the #1 spot with Glad All Over, plus they were the second British invasion group to appear on The Ed Sullivan Show. But most importantly, for Musical March in September, their movie is not about a racing dog. In 1965, they starred in the film Catch Us If You Can, a movie in which the group doesn't play themselves, instead they play stuntmen, as Dave Clark himself had also worked as a stuntman in the past. But with Clark definitely as the lead, the movie is a sort of romance where he runs off with a model during a photo shoot. The movie's notable now for some names behind the camera, too. It's written by Peter Nichols, who a year later would also write the critically acclaimed film Georgie Girl, which featured the hit title song by The Seekers. Plus, not only is Catch Us If You Can directed by the great John Boorman, but it was also his first feature film. That's right, you are watching a 60s rock and roll film through the eyes of the man who brought us the greatness of Deliverance, Zardoz and Excalibur, and the madness of Exorcist II. Sign me the hell up! And make sure to throw an impressive logo in there. I can do that. And turn the camera to the left, please. That's where the thrills are. This already feels intense. Good Lord, wake up, something's about to explode! Whoopsie, that's what happens when you fall asleep next to something loud like that. I am already appreciating how this is shot like a wacky art film. And really, you could have just used the radio to set your alarm. Here they come again. Naturally, they have to play the title song at the beginning, but here's the real twist in this version. Catch us if you can. Ha! In the States, it was retitled Having a Wild Weekend, which is a song from the band, but it's weird here considering Catch Us If You Can is still playing over it. I want to be a stuntman. These guys have everything. Their place has its own boxing montage, and I think it might be Tom Hanks's loft from Big. Much like band movies that use fast motion, there will be shots of jumping into the frame. Also more running. Lots of running through the grass. The Dave Clark 5 is smart to pace themselves, though. Now they're going for a brisk jog. And testing out the 60s playground equipment to make sure it's good and dangerous. Not only do I love that this is a Boorman film, but also that it's from the producer of The Day of the Jackal. But back to the loft. Look, boys, it'd be nice if we could actually get a stairwell in here, and a shower that feels less like a prison. The sign in the back that says meat doesn't help, or the small talk.
Now, has this story got a point, or are you merely intoxicated by the music of the words?
What did he just splash on him? Tensions are getting very high here.
Look, how many times have I told you she's not my girl?
Touch me, I've got a contagious rash.
Perhaps they've been living together too long. I'm gonna go live with Jagger in performance. As you can see, Dinah is the most popular model ever. And I have the urge to buy meat right now. I'm not sure why. They even drive trucks around simply with her face on it. And some where the band is chasing her because they want a piece of that meat too. Enough print ads though, they need to do commercials.
Now listen folks, everybody. We're trying to shoot a TV commercial for meat.
We don't know what kind of meat yet, just meat. And if we could also dress our models like they're in prison and advertise cigarettes too, that'd be great. I think the smug ad executives can explain it more.
Look, I hate to interrupt you, but let me rub your noses gently.
As long as that's all you're gently rubbing our nose in, sir. They managed to find an ad agency even more sinister than the one from Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter. There's worries they're spending too much on this meat campaign, as well as other problems.
Now, don't start this again. The girl is right. There's no doubt whatsoever about her success.
You're gonna do something terrible to her, aren't you, sir? She is absolutely the right person to sell meat. She dresses like the Hamburglar. I love that Boorman is directing this. It's not just that the ad agency is debating the meat ad, but they're scary about it. Plus, this is an odd ad for meat, where a riot appears to have broken out in the plant, and our heroes have to drive away to safety. They're taking their roles a bit too seriously, as Dave Clark's Steve is ready to drive off with Dinah, played by Barbara Ferris. You are both so fired. One of the executives is standing by for a perfect... Now they're off on their way to the nearest jewel heist, or they'll become artists like El Barto. This is actually a pretty cool movie, with their avant-garde ride through the city yelling at people. I can't hear what they're saying, but I'm assuming it's "Where's the beef?" What on earth are they gonna do next?
Oh, can hardly stand up.
It's all right once you get in. It's weightless.
Where'd they get that stuff? There's far less plot in this movie than in the Hermit's one, but that's for the better. There's something naive and innocent about it, and also weirdly hypnotic. Like it's about two people having a spontaneous good time, but the way that it's shot is like there's an impending doom that says this isn't gonna last. Again, I highly suggest changing shirts. The people are gonna think you're gonna smash the window and break into the safe to steal diamonds. Plus, the acting isn't bad in it either. The two leads give very quiet, dreamlike performances, almost like it's a David Lynch film. Surprisingly, Dave Clark didn't do much acting after this, aside from playing a customer in the 1981 horror movie The Being. But back to Henry Kissinger's ad agency, where they are hunting down their models like they're law enforcement.
Was the stunt boy with her?
Yes, driving.
Is the boy's place east of Oxford Street?
Yes.
We'll go there. Break in if you have to.
And shoot to kill. But when we come back, it'll be time to party.
Put anything on them, but don't put them on anything but county fair roads.
Yes, the party is still going on, but not just any party. They're playing the title song, at least for this version of the movie. This party is hopping with extreme Wild World of Batwoman energy. And Dinah cares not for the open shower and her posters plastered all over the walls. The kids, however, are trying to watch Rocky and Bullwinkle. Do you mind keeping it down? Also, your place might be on fire, and I think this guy is having a heart attack. They're finally smart enough to switch clothes with something far less breaking and entering-y. Now they're ready for their life out at sea, where they have witnessed the people hunting them, who also look like government spies. This man is immediately thrown off by the fact that the band's place is way better than his. What the hell, they have their own restaurant? But still, no way to get down from upstairs. Don't you feel like an ass? Part of me does feel sorry for the ad guys, who are like, look, goddammit, we just want to finish our commercial. You can drive around and get shots of the city after we're done. We're losing money here. But I'm still drawn in by how gloomy looking of a movie it is. This could turn into a horror film on a dime. One quick rewrite and this could be a cult of cannibals and I would buy it. They'd never do meat ads again. Also, for some reason, I just feel that Percy is in the middle of this group hiding out somewhere. But best get to know these drifters a little more.
Got any spliffs, man?
Spliffs.
Pot? No.
Whoa, there's drugs in this? Really, they could tell them anything they want. This group probably won't remember a few minutes after.
Why do you live like this? For kicks?
No, kicks is more of a Paul Revere and the Raiders thing. It doesn't take long for them to get mumbly and awkward.
And the King Monk said, give me one good reason why this cat should live.
Oh, look, we need to get out of here, okay? British Charles Manson isn't making any sense. Poor Steve, what started out as a wild weekend is escalating quickly. Good lord, did the ad executive send tanks after them? And I mean it when I say this escalates fast. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, we need to get out of here. The agency started World War III just to make examples out of us. This movie is amazing, if anything, because it's wildly unpredictable. Borman turned this into a relatively intense war film. Even Billy Jack is getting the hell out of there. Perhaps maybe we should have stayed in the flat. That would have spared us from seeing a possible public execution where they're hauled off to prison camps. Wow, that was crazy, right? Phew, glad we're not those people. Hello, can you take us somewhere less explosion heavy? And yet I am still very nervous.
My name's Guy, by the way.
I'm Nan. We're an old married couple.
Oh, sure, I believe you. You're both serial killers, aren't you? But don't worry, there's a sitcom joke to lighten the mood.
Leon must be furious to have done this.
Gentlemen, grab a brandy. We'll put their corpses in this meat ad if we have to. He wants to use their runaway shenanigans to their benefit, and why not? They already got a rockin' soundtrack out of it. As for the rest of the band...
Tony, come in. Put the bottle, Wendy, over your shoulder. Follow it down. Ready?
They're wrestlers now. Good news, the band is on their way to pick them up. The bad news, someone is definitely tied up in this couple's basement. I'll see her to the bathroom. I think I know who's in charge here. The cat.
Ah, yes, kill them immediately so I can feast on their flesh. They're the people from the meat ads, so they're gonna taste really good and tender like it. Hey, don't touch me!
And while you're in the tub, we will tend to the lad.
No thanks, I don't.
Tried it once. Didn't fancy it.
She is going at him with extreme "my husband won't be home for hours." I never thought I'd be expecting a jump scare to happen. For God's sake, they shouldn't be alone here.
And Steve, if you want to change your clothes, my costume collection's in the spare bedroom.
Oh, thanks.
If you could dress like a court jester, that'd be spectacular. All while we have a
yes, money, yes, wealth, yes lecture.
Is this going on for long?
Does it bore you?
No, it's just that I've heard it before.
Making lampshades out of drifters we pick up is the only thing that saves our marriage.
And I told you, don't touch me. You're creeping me out.
Everything they say is creepier than the last.
We're collectors. We collect.
What sort of things?
Oh God, it's teeth, isn't it? Good Lord, his collection is worse than I thought. Sure, this may look like a 1960s Cinema Snob set, but he's gonna put on a snuff film, isn't he? Or he has the whole collection of The Walking Dead, and don't ask him questions.
What does Nan collect?
Also teeth, but no matter, it's high time we play another song. Truly one of the Dave Clark Five's more experimental songs. And now, dinner.
Well, everyone who was in my class has either committed suicide or gone to live abroad.
All of them.
Wait, what? But finally, the band is there to rescue them, while I'm still fairly certain the ad agency is made up of government spies. What kind of hell is going on here?
They're great. They've taken us in, looked after us, given us a meal.
Are they kinks or something?
No, they're not the Kinks. They haven't sang "You Really Got Me" once. But I gotta say, once their costume party gets underway, I'm surprised. Rob Zombie's The Munsters is a lot better than the trailer made it look. There's also really subtle jokes here too, like how Lenny Davidson is dressed like Harpo Marx as a self-aware nod that Lenny has 0 lines in the film. Maybe it won't be such a bad time here. After all, they're less scary than the ad agents.
Quite attractive, I suppose. Do you find her attractive?
No, he's just here for the soundtrack, of course!
Catch us if you can.
It is a great song. And there's still some fun trivia about the film, like how Dave Clark complained to an assistant about the costumes, but then it turned out the person was married to the costume designer, so filming had to be delayed because he punched Dave in the nose. Also, it's a giant monster movie now. They finally fixed that monster from the creeping terror. The movie's also pretty original in the fact that it isn't really a musical. Since they're not playing a band in it, they never play any songs. No one even breaks out into song, and the music in the movie is songs from the Dave Clark Five that are just playing over party scenes or in montages. Plus, I still think it may be a horror film.
What can I get you?
I'll have a...
I'll get these.
See, everyone here is definitely a ghost. But uh-oh, the coppers are here to arrest anyone wearing an offensive costume. Like you, Dark Man didn't suffer severe burns to dance at a crazy party. Everyone's a little thrown off. They're not used to artwork in the background that isn't advertising meat. That makes them go crazy. Folks, Dave's nose just healed. Now we got some extras with broken fingers. It is dangerous in here. Thankfully, the married couple has decided not to eat them and instead will help them escape. It helps that apparently they have 1,000,000 friends who turned up at their costume party. Now the orgy in Tiberius's grotto can commence. Careful though, there's a lot of dry ice in there. And when we come back, more prime yakety sax action.
Gene, this coffee is delicious. Do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same kind we've been using, is it?
Mm-mm.
Don't just shake your head. Explain why the coffee's so good.
Good taste.
Tastes good as fresh perked. Instant Folgers.
We are back, and Leon the ad exec is being weird again.
Now, which are the most suitable cuts of beef for pot roasting?
Plate, brisket.
If you don't let me record you talking about meat, you don't get the job. Watching John Boorman's Dave Clark 5 movie really makes me want a Stanley Kubrick Yardbirds film, or the alternate universe where the Rolling Stones are Alex and the Droogs. I like where this movie is going, like when their song When is playing over them walking, and they are reaching a point in their weekend where they're running out of things to say to each other. All while the band is still driving to the nearest shenanigans. Anyway, guess we can stay on this ranch for a while. You're not gonna show us your film collection, dress in costumes, and argue with your wife, are you? There's more gorgeous scenery here with the horseback riding, but I have the sneaking suspicion a flying saucer is gonna show up in a cloud. It doesn't seem suspicious here. Sure, the road is blocked off by snow, but that's no biggie. Even with their beautiful surroundings, that still hasn't brought happiness to them in the moment, since reality is setting in that he'll be leaving for Spain at some point, and that time is running out on their fantasy weekend. I'll tell you who's having an even worse weekend though, the sheep. They can still squeeze in a little bit of rowdiness, like a high-speed car chase. The coppers are gonna put them in the meat ad come hell or high water. Oh, well, maybe not too much water. As I said last week in the Herman's Hermits movie, it is cool that this is an era where movies like these could still be incredibly well shot. But unlike last week's, this one isn't just simply well shot, it's also a really damn good movie, honestly. I don't know what these characters are gonna find next. Sweet, a water tank house. It continues to be simultaneously beautiful and haunting, like finding this abandoned fancy house on a deserted island. It makes it even creepier that Leon the ad exec has been there waiting the whole time. He isn't even mad as he explains that their weekend of escapism made headlines, which was great news for selling their products. There are still some questions, though.
How did you get here then? I didn't see a boat.
I walked.
On the water, of course.
He's a demon! I knew it! The movie really is a sweet yet sad story of just a spontaneous weekend where you're living in the moment, you trick yourself into thinking it's gonna last forever with someone you strike up a huge bond with, but then reality comes in and you have to go back to the real world as if nothing happened. Like maybe you'll see this person again, maybe you won't, maybe you'll remember this adventure years later, but again, maybe you won't. But it's fantastic at being just this quick snapshot of one naive moment in these young people's lives, and when it ends, it's sad, but it's realistic. It's a funny film, it's a bittersweet film, and there is a timelessness to its themes. The movie is an absolute hidden gem, from the cinematography to its themes of spontaneous escape, older people hanging on to their youth, with some completely giving up on recapturing it, and also young people hanging on to the final moments of their youth. In the genre of band films, they made a way different kind of movie. It's very original and really stands out amongst the others. Especially by making them not play a band in the film. Like it's this bizarre Odyssey movie that just happens to star a rock band. And with this weird journey that two young, in-love leads are on, and the sinister group that's chasing them, it's almost like it planted the seeds for stuff like David Lynch's Wild at Heart, or some other crazy young lovebirds movies that came after it. It's an underrated rock movie and also an underrated John Boorman film. Check it out if you're fans of both the Dave Clark 5 and Boorman films. Coming up next week though, Jerry and the Pacemakers try their hand at movies with Ferry Cross the Mersey. It doesn't have as good a reviews as Catch Us If You Can, but we'll see how it turns out.
Open wide. Oh, come on. Keep it going.